Hi there, I'm Amanda Cromhote from Truth. Welcome to the Blind Loyalty Challenge. We interview world experts in loyalty blindly. We're hoping to create insight, spontaneity, and a lot of fun through the challenge. The challenge is about promoting the blind loyalty trust, and my book called Blind Loyalty, 101 Loyalty Concepts Radically Simplified. All profits from the book go towards the trust. We hope you enjoy the Blind Loyalty Challenge.
Let's go. Speed dating loyalty.
We're going to take that. That's the starting point. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jovin's actually done the opening line for the Blind Loyalty Challenge. We now have a speed dating in loyalty. So we have Jovin Shen, who's the Global Sales Director of Perks Technologies based in Singapore. So we take the Blind Loyalty Challenge to a new territory, which is very exciting. So Jovin, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go. So you've been tagged by Kelly Goldsworthy from Capitec, and that's because you're doing amazing work with Kelly and her team. So on the same note of the work of your organization, we have several chapters in Blind Loyalty around technology. What would you say is the single most important decision brands have to make when choosing their technology partner?
Making sure, so first and foremost, I want to make sure that people don't buy too much technology, because what happens is there's too much on the shelf that they don't use. I think understanding what you really need to accomplish in the near and maybe 6, 12, 18 months out, I think that's all you really need to buy for. I find that when I work with clients, their eyes are always bigger than their stomach. So really keeping that in check and not buying too much technology just to enable that strategy, because ultimately they need to control their budget too, right? Like, overspending is not optimal. And I mean, with loyalty and marketing, because they kind of go hand in hand, there has to be a test. And so when people sign on for technology and put their trust in Perks, for example, or even another vendor, they're signing off on their internal reputations when they do that. So I think buying enough and just enough, little bit ahead is the key.
That's really great, actually, advice I haven't heard before, especially not from the vendor themselves, because normally it's let's lock you in for 3 to 5 years and take it from there. So
As
I
much
think
as I'd
that's
like the big ticket, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, it's
yeah.
the clients won't trust you as much if you're just trying to shove tech down their throat.
Yeah, exactly. Great. I appreciate that's super. Well done. I like that. So my second question, chapters 85 and 86 are around loyalty fraud. What do you think is the most impactful way of mitigating loyalty fraud?
Mitigating loyalty fraud. Get rid of the fraudsters first and foremost when you find them. Make example. No, I'm kidding. So, there's obviously going to be systems in place to track the fraudsters or the bad actors. Testing that out. So with some of our clients, they have people in the background that are acting as fraudsters, so to speak. There's always going to be people trying to break the system, find ways around it, and then sharing it on Reddit or wherever they decide to share it, so that and I think you're never going to get rid of fraud altogether, but
Yeah.
understanding where, I hate to say it like this, but having people that could possibly think in that fashion to be able to it's almost like internal hackers. You want someone to try to break the system first and foremost to see if people can do that. And I think that's the only way around that right now. You can have as much technology as you want, but if you don't have someone who thinks that way, you're never going to be able to get ahead
Yeah.
of it, or at least be on par.
That's a great answer, because I heard a webinar a few years back around loyalty fraud, and the company it was AI Events, who are very deep specialists in fraud, and one of the individuals being interviewed was an ex-convicted felon around fraud, not necessarily loyalty fraud, but payment fraud, because
Sure.
that who had come through the other side, a better person, and who now was able to really unpack the details of it in the mind of a fraudster.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. It's
incredible,
like it's
absolutely
like those
incredible.
hackers. You hear about
Yeah.
them and you know, even though they've been charged by the federal government, 6 months from now, the federal government probably hired them to go do the job or something along those lines. So it's similar. If
Yeah.
you can't think like your counterpart, you're not going to be able to be on
You'll
par with them.
never get a step ahead anyway.
Correct, correct.
Okay, my last question. What do you think is the most exciting future tech innovation that we'll be facing in the loyalty industry?
The most exciting piece. You know, a few years ago, or even up until now, everyone keeps talking about the hyper personalization. You know, I think it's talked to death, that word. I actually find it corny for me to even say it. When the data, whomever the service provider is, be it retail, bank, whenever the data is going to be clean enough and enriched enough, I think that whomever does that first, that's going to be the differentiator when Amanda signs into her app, finally feels like, my God, they actually understand me and are offering me things that I want when I want them versus constantly pushing promos
Yeah.
down my throat where I'm just desensitized to it. So I think when that day comes and whoever does it first, and then technology becomes the enabler to push these out in a timely manner, that's the ticket. That's
Yeah,
but data first.
as you say, that's taking us a bit back to basics, but often that's exactly what makes the innovation or the differentiation, right?
Well, like, you know, it's like with any high-end experience, and it's the white glove approach. You're really just trying to emulate the white glove approach, but at
Mm.
scale. And without that granular and quality of data, it's going to be tough to do. And I think when we get there, then that'll be that moment what changes for everybody.
Great, wonderful. Well, you obviously cruised through this. So the last question isn't one of the challenge questions, but it is who can you tag for me to chat to next?
I'd love to put you in front of my client in Indonesia, who is at they're doing wonderful things at SMBC Genius. It's the largest digital bank there. As Kelly in Capitec, this is my other favorite client where we are really just supporting their strategy because the creative that's coming out to be able to curate loyalty programs that are of interest, especially when it comes to banking where it's dry.
Yeah.
They're now able to drive that adoption and ultimately the attention that they want for the opportunity down the road to possibly sell Amanda a product or service, but earn the right to do so. And I think creativity is what's getting them there.
Amazing. I love meeting new folks and I love to meet someone in Indonesia. So as I said to
Oh,
you before,
definitely.
we've done quite a lot of work in Indonesia, but certainly not with the banking industry. So thank you for that.
I'll take care of that.
And wonderful. So you passed I think it was your first ever speed dating in loyalty.
Yeah, exactly. We swiped right. We made it work.
Oh, that's brilliant. We swipe right. Okay, on that point, I'm going to stop recording. Jovin, thank you so much for doing the blind loyalty challenge.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.